Hey everybody, it's Jeff. Welcome to another episode of Stay Rad Wine Blog TV. And today, we're going to look at jammy wines. The first thing I wanted to do is just kind of talk to you about the term jammy, because it does get thrown around quite a bit when we talk about wines, and sometimes we lose sight of what it's supposed to mean. According to Robert Parker's online glossary of wine terms, when he talks about a jammy wine, he's saying that the fruit is very concentrated and very just in your face. And he talks about it often as being a very positive term to be jammy. And you know, I've used jammy in that way before, but sometimes when I'm talking about a wine being jammy, I really think of, like, you know, the fakey kind of sugar-fied type of jam, which can be delicious sometimes. It can also be obnoxious sometimes, and so we veer off in different directions when we talk about jammy. And I thought what I'd do today is I'd take two wines that are claiming to be just that, claiming to be jammy, and I thought I'd pair it not with peanut butter, but with some almond butter, because I've just been on an almond butter kick lately. I saw these two wines in the store. They're called Baker's Dozen is the maker, and this is their jammy series. They got a jammy Pinot Noir, they've got a jammy Cabernet Sauvignon, and what do you know? These are two non-vintage wines. So you would expect year after year this stuff is going to taste the exact same. I don't know how long this company's been around. I'll do a little research afterwards and post those after the facts underneath this vid. But let's dive into this Pinot Noir and see how it is. You know, it's got that light color. Definitely, you know, definitely something you can see right through. I don't think they're putting any Syrah in this at all. This looks to be straight peen. But of course, I could be wrong. Yeah, and on the nose, this is kind of what I expected. Both these wines are $7 a pop. I just picked this up at the local grocery store, and to me, they fall into that category of being those novelty wines where they've got a label like, oh, it looks like a bottle of jam and it says it's jammy. What the hey? Why not? And I always kind of wonder, you know, when you take that novelty route, are you basically saying, like, our wine can't really hold up on its own without the label? That's my fear with a lot of those things. But what the heck, if you can make lots of money, like, you know, Menage a Trois, which is a fairly okay wine, you know, I kind of put them in that novelty category, and they've been doing great. So, I mean, if you can find a market by a catchy label, and I don't think these labels are really that attractive. I mean, I don't know, I'll look at those after the facts later, but I don't know if it's such a good idea to go that route. But that's a different subject. We're talking about jam. And sure enough, on the nose, I'm getting like a really bright strawberry, raspberry jam type of characteristic. And when I'm saying jam, yeah, that fruit is concentrated. Also smells a little sugary, a little fakey. I'm actually getting a little grape juice in there, and I know we don't like to talk about grapes when we're drinking wine with our tasting notes, but it kind of smells like that Concord grape juice. You know, nothing overly complex. It seems pretty one-dimensional. This is fruit in your face. Let's take a sip, see how it is. Oh, wow. Yeah. This isn't good. You know, jam it is, right? This really tastes like you took some strawberry, raspberry jam, just took a big chunk of it, poured it into like a 4-ounce glass of water, and just started mixing, right? Just started mixing until finally those clumps just kind of break apart and they're just floating around in there. And you take a shot of it, and that's what this tastes like. Overly fakey, sugar-fied weirdness. Gosh, and I mean, this is also one that I think would be a wine. You ever talk to people and they just say, "Oh, I'm not a real wine drinker, but I like this." I got a feeling you're going to get a lot of people saying that. Give this to your friends that say they don't like wine, and they'll probably say they like it, because it does have like it's kind of like, it's kind of like candy. It's kind of like just, popping some sweet tarts, and there is a little tartness to this. There is a little acidity to it, but really it's this quick hit and then a super thin finish, and there's really not much to it. It's just sugary fruitness. I'm giving it an 81. It's just, I'm sorry, let me take that. 81, I wouldn't mind, drinking it again if I had nothing else around. Let's give it a 79. 79. And I want to try to forget this by moving on to the next wine. I want to believe that I didn't taste this, but I did, and I don't know if the Cabernet from the exact same company is. Sorry about that, guys. I ran out of storage, so I had to erase some photos of my dog, but I think I got enough room to finish this episode up now. So I was saying I'm really hoping that I can forget what this Pinot Noir tastes, and I'll tell you, it's been about 30 seconds since we stopped and started, and I'm starting to forget it because there's absolutely no finish on this. I just remember concentrated fruit and sweetness and sugar and grossness. And again, that was a 79. Let's roll into this Cabernet Sauvignon, and let's hope for better results. I'm not going to pour as much. I don't have to dump out as much. Oh, okay. So, obviously, darker color, right? We're dealing with that Cabernet grape. I will say, though, it's not really dark compared to other Cabernets. I mean, you can see right through this thing. So I'm not envisioning a whole lot of density of fruit there, except for maybe some sugar-fied fakiness, which is what I'm expecting now from the Baker's Dozen. I'm sorry, that Pinot Noir's, let's call it a 75. The more I think about it, I just get really, really effing mad. I'm sorry. Cabernet, I hope you do better for me. Here we go. Not as in your face. I mean, it's a lot more of a plummier type of nose. There's a subtle note of maybe some tannin structure being present in this wine. Not necessarily a great nose either. I am still getting some of that sugar-fied sweetness rising up, and it's at this point I'm almost like, you guys know how I feel about eggs, and if you don't, just go back and search on my blog and you'll figure it out pretty quick. I would almost rather have just like a raw egg sitting in front of me and just munch on that. I'm really sad right now. Okay. So yeah, just that sugary, plummy type of fruit, and let's give it a whirl. Oh God. You know, both of these wines are 12%, and I will say that the Pinot Noir did a better job of masking the alcohol. 12% is pretty low, and sure enough, when you have a 12% Cabernet, and all I'm getting are alcohol fumes and sugar and that same plummy flavor, it's really just fakey fake over the topness, you know? I mean, this doesn't taste like anything that came out of any particular vineyard. It just tastes like somebody was in a lab and just slapping some junk together. And the more I think about these two wines, and here's the problem with these vids. I mean, you know, on the spot, I'm giving you these scores, and the more and more I think about them, you know, sometimes I want to tweak them a little. I'm pretty honest with you guys most of the time, and I want to be honest. As I'm thinking about this wine, usually you want to think about the flavor and how delicious it is, and all I'm thinking about now is how much I want to keep lowering the scores. So we're going to bring this down to I'm so angry. I'm so angry. 68. This is really bad. That's a 68, and this is a... And whatever structure is underneath that fruit, that in-your-face, ridiculously, just chemically enhanced flavor water, any sort of, you know, earthy notes that are there, just extremely bitter and awkward, and they don't go in any sense of the word. The Pinot Noir is a 68. This Cabernet, both non-vintage again, California Appalachian, $7 a piece. Ouch. This Cabernet, sorry bud, 65, 68 and 65. If you didn't have that bitter butt taste, maybe you would have beat this guy. I don't know. The almond butter is the only thing that is going to salvage this stuff, and I can't bring out this stuff to pair and not use it just because I'm angry at the wine. The almond butter didn't do anything, you know. The almond butter didn't hurt my feelings. It's delicious. So here we go, back into our Pinot Noir, a 68. Give me a big scoop here. Thank you. If you've never had almond butter before, I mean, really, exact same texture as peanut butter, right? You are going to notice off the bat it's quite a bit saltier in flavor, and then it takes a moment, but then you start getting like just these mouth coating. You almost feel like aromas dancing in your mouth of just almonds, and after a second, it just feels like, hey, I just chewed up some whole almonds, and this is what I'm tasting now. There's a good smokiness to this. The almond butter's great. Almond butter's a 90, 92. I mean, and it salvages the Pinot Noir in some respect, because, I mean, that saltiness and that earthiness and that creaminess really chops up that fake fruit. And when the fake fruit falls apart because of a little almond butter, yeah, buddy, the almond butter wins. And both of these wines are just losers. Whatever. Okay. Here we go. Cabernet again with the almond butter. And really, I'm just doing this because I don't want to hurt the almond butter's feelings. I mean, the almond butter is delicious. But these effing, I want to cuss so bad right now, but I will not. These effing jammy wines are GD ridiculous. Oh my God, they're so bad. That almond butter is so good, though. It's so good. Oh, I'm so angry, but happy at the same time because of this guy. Yeah, I mean, the almond butter, I think, does a whole lot better job of completely masking this Cabernet. I mean, you don't really taste it at all, so thank you, almond butter. Wow. When's the last time you bought a novelty wine? When's the last time you regretted that you bought a novelty wine? When's the last time you felt like you got ripped off paying $7 for a bottle of wine? Or $14 for two? This is... I'm so angry. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. I love you. Stay rad.